Hi everybody, bit of a hard end to that song there. Welcome, thank you for coming. My name is Robbie Keswick and I'm the campus manager for Australian Pacific College and English Unlimited here in Sydney. Welcome to our latest COVID-19 bulletin update. If you are watching this in Zoom, there is a Q&A button down the bottom of your screen. We're going to have questions at the end. So, I mean, throughout the presentation, you might have questions for us. Feel free to use that button, any questions at all. We'll try and get to as many as we can at the end of the session. Today, you will get an update on our COVID-19 response as a college and the measures that we've implemented to try and help out all of our students. I'm going to run through the response to date, and after that, our PEO, David Yu, will talk you through the bulletin that was released 1 week ago on September 16th and what that means for you. And finally, our General Manager of Admissions and Administration, it's a bit of a mouthful, Pam Siegel, along with Marketing and Communications Manager Rachel Findley, are going to explain the specifics of how you can make sure that you are able to take full advantage of tuition fee relief and the lock-in opportunity as we move into next year and even 2022. So to kick things off, we have a quick question for you. Tell us a bit more about yourself. So it's just to get a feel for who exactly we're speaking to at the moment. So are you an APC student, an English Unlimited student, a partner agent, or a student from somewhere else? Hello, Kate. I can see you in the chat. I'll give you a couple more seconds to answer. All right, so it looks like we're about 2/3 current students, about 1/3 agents. So that's good. Good to know who we're talking to. Welcome, thank you. So let's go through what we've done so far to date. So as a college and as a group of people who work here and spend our time here, the one thing that has always been at the front of our minds since we entered the COVID world back in March is how do we take care of our students? I mean, it's such a crazy time, and it was something that obviously changed the way that we do everything, and I suppose that maybe you do everything as well. It took a while for governments to offer any kind of support, particularly for international students. But one of our very first announcements in March, before any other college in Australia, was to introduce tuition fee relief for all of our vocational and English students. We also brought our existing 8 hours of free weekly extra English classes online and supplemented them with our social club for 4 hours a week, which included things like yoga and karaoke. So that was to help students stay connected outside of their classes. Of course, at that time, everybody was in lockdown. We've partnered with 3 industry contacts to get food to students in need. We offered flexible payment options in term 2, which then became direct debit payment plans, which are now available for students who want to pay monthly. In May, we opened 6 campuses to give students access to campus facilities in a COVID-safe way through the campus access requests and registrations. And at the same time, we launched live chat on our website to help students access our student care team faster. Our Study Buddy program has been a big success so far. We're really proud of that one. It's been a really wonderful time, really good to see students helping each other. We've had 210 scholarships awarded so far through that, giving students a way to create peer networks to support each other through the virtual learning environment, or VLE as we call it, and simultaneously provide some financial support for those students who are facing some genuine hardship. We've also made temporary changes to policies and procedures, making them more flexible to help students who are affected by border closures or who are having difficulty accessing the VLE for various reasons. And all of this stuff, everything you see here on the screen, resulted in student retention of 98%. So it's when there are borders are closed and you're an international college, obviously that presents some problems. But most of our students, almost all of our students, I think, have identified with the fact that we're really trying to help in a range of different ways, and we hope that that's been clear to everybody, and we're really happy with some of the responses we've got from students, and that's what we've done so far. And today we're going to talk about the next steps of that. So on that note, I will hand it over to the PEO of Australian Pacific College, and of Australian Pacific College Education Group, David Yu. Hello, David.
Hello, Robbie, and thank you so much, Robbie, for the introduction and the summary of some of the measures we have put in place as a response to COVID-19. And good afternoon to everybody, or good morning, or should I say good evening for some of you, because I know that we have a lot of people joining us from different parts of the world. So thank you for joining us for this session. Now, our latest measures that we've announced in this bulletin have been made to ensure that we prioritize your health and safety during these challenging times. Together, we know that we can assist you in preserving and realizing the opportunities that lay ahead in the years to come for all of you. So next slide, please. So over 6 months ago now, as Robbie mentioned, on the 19th of March 2020, we transitioned all of our programs and all of our on-campus classes onto the virtual learning environment. And since then, in addition to the 98% student retention rate that's been mentioned, I'm very pleased to share that your overall class satisfaction rates across all our programs, both vocational and ELICOS programs, have been consistently above 90%. So thank you all so much for your enthusiasm and active participation. However, for our VET programs, we do have some more work to do, and we recognize that as your participation rates, even though they are above 80% in the virtual learning environment, that also means that unfortunately, 20% of you are not as engaged as you could be. And we know that although this is only a one-term comparison, since we've only had one term of VLE, but we want to address this immediately, and the measures in our latest bulletin, they've been put in place to ensure that you stay engaged with us, and while at the same time, we balance the need to protect your physical and mental well-being, as social distancing is still the most effective measure to combat COVID-19. Next slide, please. Now, with that in mind, what we've decided to do is to continue to deliver all of our courses on the virtual learning environment until the 30th of June, 2021. We have now made further improvements to your virtual learning environment experience with a new LMS platform called myAPC.hub. We are recommencing some of the on-campus activities from the 1st of October, but this will of course depend on the prevailing health advice. We're going to introduce also more personalized and ongoing assessment support, with HIP being reorganized to be more accessible during the study term instead of just at the end. And we'll also be extending the APC Study Buddy program into 2021. Our aim is also to try and to provide more certainty and remove some of the doubts surrounding your future financial commitments. As a student, especially as an international student, we know that there are already way too many barriers, hurdles, and hoops that you need to jump through to access financial assistance. That is why we're the first college in Australia to announce the tuition fee relief that's accessible to all students. And now we are again the first to extend this further to 30th of June 2021, and beyond that with a lock-in opportunity, which we will tell you more about in today's session. Now, we're able to do all this as our staff and many of our agents who have decided to work with us have collaborated to look for ways of returning most of some of the financial assistance measures that we're receiving from the Australian government, such as JobKeeper. And our businesses have collaborated now to support the tuition fee relief and the Study Buddy program for you, as we think this is the right thing for you during these uncertain times. On that note, I am personally grateful to all of our staff, all of our business partners, and I thank everyone for their ongoing commitment to support our initiatives, which by the end of this year, our support measures will be in excess of $10 million being returned to the student community. Now, we admire the courage that each and one of you have shown to continue and pursue your studies in Australia. And for those of you now wishing to have more certainty with your academic pursuits, I'm very pleased to inform you that we've been able to organize further postgraduate pathway options for you with an unprecedented 50% credit into over 8 master's programs through our new graduate diploma in management. We'll be also offering a limited number of scholarships to make it even more accessible, and details of that will follow shortly today. Next slide, please. Now, we can't imagine what you're all going through, as your experience is unique to you. But we are here to help you. I know that from a personal perspective, I feel scared and I often fear for our future, especially in the current climate. But I know that it's also okay to feel this way, as my fears they're just not a result of self-criticism or self-doubt, but the result of the excitement over the collective opportunities that is ahead for all of us. So I've come to understand that the fear that I feel really arises from the possibility of missing out on all these opportunities with you all. This situation is new to all of us. But one thing we do know is that after this struggle, there are immense opportunities ahead of us. The lessons learned from this struggle will be the reward, especially when we look back on this this challenging period in the future. So stay well, stay connected, and most of all, let's stay together. You're not alone, and we're here for you to tackle the wonderful opportunities together. Thank you, and back to you, Robbie.
Thanks, David. That really is I think the sentiment that a lot of us have here, I wouldn't say all of us have here at APC and at English Unlimited. It's a difficult time, and we're trying to do whatever we can to all get through this together, and that's for our student and our partners as well. So thanks for the update. I'll just remind everybody that if you have any questions, if you could please ask them using the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen if you're watching in Zoom. We're about to get into something that you might have some questions about, so we're ready for those when they come. I'll introduce the General Manager of Admissions and Administration, Pam Siegel, and Marketing and Communications Manager, Rachel Finley, who will talk to you about how you can access tuition fee relief and the lock-in opportunity.
Hi everyone. So Pam and I would really like to take you through these exciting new benefits and really try and clarify it for you. So if ever anything is confusing, please pop the question into the Q&A and we're going to go through it at the end. So if you're a current student with us, you know that currently we have something called tuition fee relief. So the majority of our VET courses are $1,000 per term, Design and TESOL are $1,500, and our English courses are $100 per week. Now, we've decided to extend that for all of our students until the 30th of June, 2021. So what that basically means, and we're going to break it down for you now, depending on what kind of student you are. If you could go on to the next slide, Eva. So all students will receive tuition fee relief until the 30th of June, 2021. So if you're a current student with us and you have an existing enrollment, imagine that you enrolled with us May this year or even last year, you will automatically receive tuition fee relief until the 30th of June, 2021, okay? So there's no need for you to reapply. There's no need for you to get in contact with us. It will be automatically applied to your enrollment. Now, if you're a new student and you're going to apply to study with us, this tuition fee relief will be clearly on your letter of offer, so you can see exactly how much you're going to be paying. Now, on the next slide, we're going to talk about the lock-in opportunity. So we want to give our students peace of mind going through their entire study package. So on top of the tuition fee relief going from the 30th of June, 2021, we're giving VET students the opportunity to lock in up to 4 terms of VET study at tuition fee relief fees. So on the previous slide, we were talking about that tuition fee relief, $1,000 for the majority of VET courses, excluding Design and TESOL, and $100 for tuition fee relief for English courses. Now, this lock-in opportunity is for VET courses only. So imagine if you're a current student and you have an enrollment that goes beyond June 30 next year. That means it's going beyond term 2 next year. And you have, let's say, an extra 3 terms to study with us. You will automatically get tuition fee relief for those terms, okay? If you're a current student with an enrollment finishing before June 30 next year, okay, you're invited to reapply to extend your studies, and you can also lock in another 4 terms of VET study. But this has to be done before the 31st of December this year if you want to take advantage of the lock-in opportunity. And if you're a new student looking for a study package, of course, as we said before, you're going to get tuition fee relief until June next year. Everyone is getting that, but you can also take advantage of the lock-in opportunity and lock in up to 4 terms, okay? So if we look on the next page, we'll see a nice little graph. So you can see that when we started tuition fee relief, which was predominantly because of COVID-19 and the stresses put on students, that is now being extended up until term 2 next year. And then you have the lock-in period that begins from the 30th of June 2021 and goes until the end of term 4, as you can see in 2022. Now you may ask yourself, hey, this is more than 4 terms. That's because those 4 lock-in terms can take place in that period. Okay, that doesn't mean that you can have 6 terms of lock-in. You can only have 4, but it can take place in that period. So your studies need to be finished by the end of term 4, 2022. Okay, so I'm sure you might have some questions about that. It is a bit of a tricky topic. So we're going to run a poll now just to see everyone's understanding of it. So is the difference between tuition fee relief and the lock-in opportunity clear now? Yeah, let's just, okay, we need a few more examples. We'll let it run for a few more seconds. Okay, it looks pretty even, doesn't it? I think we will need a few more examples, don't you think, Pam?
Probably, but that's okay. We can handle that, Rach.
Oh, we can. We've got this. All right, I'll do a couple and you can do a couple, okay? So I'm going to take the first example, which is a current student. Now, imagine that current student is studying project management, and that student is going to have their last term in term 2 next year, okay? That means that enrollment falls within the tuition fee relief period, okay? So they will automatically get tuition fee relief, okay? And if it's project management, that's $1,000 per term, okay? Now imagine we have another student and they have a package. They're doing the diploma of project management and the advanced diploma of project management. And imagine that study period is going to go until term 4 next year, okay? That means it goes into the lock-in period. Because that student is a current student, that student will get 2 terms that will be locked in at tuition fee relief, okay? Now, if a student would like to apply for an extension, imagine if you're an existing student and your lock-in period finishes next year, term 4, you got 2 lock-in terms, you can apply for another course if you would like to do another course with us, and you can get your remaining 2 lock-in terms. So everyone is entitled to a maximum of 4 lock-in terms. Do you have another example, Pam?
I do, Rach.
Okay.
If, for example, a student is enrolled, for example, in an advanced diploma of human resources, which is a total of 3 terms, and they've enrolled before the 31st of December, but they're only commencing in term 1. They'll get the 2 terms of tuition fee relief, and then the 1 term that goes from term 3 will be at the lock-in price.
Exactly.
Okay? And
yeah.
Again, like you said, if they also want to extend before 31 December this year, they can add another course on the other end and still have up to 3 terms left that they can have lock-in.
Exactly. So just like we have new students applying to study with us who are going to take advantage of tuition fee relief and the lock-in period, our existing students are also invited to apply and extend their studies with us to also take advantage of those 4 lock-in terms. So just to summarize, if you're a current student, you will automatically get tuition fee relief until June 30 next year. If you're a current student and your enrollment goes beyond June 30 next year, and let's say you're already enrolled for 4 terms, you will get 4 terms of tuition fee relief after June 30, okay? If you've only got 1 or 2 terms in the lock-in period, or maybe you haven't got any lock-in terms booked in with us, then you can also extend your studies with us and apply for an extension, okay? So yeah, we'll go through some of those questions at the end, I think, because I think it'll clear up when we have some student questions. But Pam, I'll leave it to you now to go on to your next slide.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you, Eva. I was just waiting for the slide to move over. Thanks for explaining the tuition fee relief and the lock-in to everyone. I'm now very excited to be able to share with you that higher education is coming to APC, as David mentioned earlier. and we're very proud to be launching our Graduate Diploma of Management Learning. So this is a one-year qualification at APC, and it gives you pathway options that include 50% credit into any one of 8 master's programs with our partner, the University of Wollongong. And this means you can finish, if you think about it, 2 postgraduate qualifications, so that's both the graduate diploma and the master's degree, in just 2 years. So that's great career opportunities for everyone. So the other thing is, the great news for APC students is that we've managed to secure from the university side of things that you only require to have a $1,000 deposit to secure your master's program. So that's for the next year, so that you can actually put your application through for the package. And APC is also going to be offering a series of scholarships for this exciting new program. In addition, we're also going to offer a limited number of scholarships and early entry opportunities for our Term 4 cohort. So the program launches in Term 1, 2021, but we have a select group that we will be putting through from Term 4, especially if you've already got employment that you can use for your workplace subjects within the graduate diploma. We do have a limited number of scholarships that you can inquire about for Term 4. And remember also that the lock-in tuition fee relief does not apply to the graduate diploma program. So next slide, please. Thanks, Eva. So hopefully we've been able to provide you with some useful information in today's webinar. And if you're keen to enrol or extend your studies, if you're an existing student, for tuition fee relief or lock-in, it's really easy. So if you're extending or a new enrolment, just head to our website, the APC.edu.au, and click on the Apply Now button. Alternatively, you can fill out our application form and you can send it to our registrar email, which is registrar@apc.edu.au. And you'll find that application form also on our website. So if you're interested in our graduate diploma as a standalone or the pathway, you'll need to just go to our live chat, which is also on the bottom right-hand corner of our website, and just put in a query there and we will contact you with further information as it becomes available. And we're available on live chat, don't forget, from Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So hopefully that covers most time zones as well. Otherwise, we'll get back to you very quickly the next morning. So I think that's me done. I'll hand it back to Robbie now. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Pam. Thank you, Rachel. So it's hopefully clear. I can see a lot of questions coming in, and as we saw in the poll, I mean, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to understand straight away. And so I've just been chatting to some of you guys in the chat there, and I said, look, if you have a specific question about your specific circumstances, we might try and use those as some examples. And so let me just reach in and start grabbing one of these. Okay, so I have a question here from Rekha, who says, I just enrolled and I'm starting in October Diploma of Leadership and Management. I get 3 terms as TFR and the last term can still be locked in for $1,000. Is that right? Or only if I extend? So that's Rachel.
Right. Yes, I love that one. So yes, that's right. You automatically get 1 term of lock-in with that enrollment. And if you would like to extend that enrollment and do another qualification, you could also get another 3 terms of lock-in because you've only used up 1 of those terms in your current enrollment.
All right, beautiful. So yeah, if you have a specific question, you want to try and see if we have a few questions coming in, but if you want us to try and answer your specific situation, we'll try to. Now, of course, if we don't get to you, and there are a lot of you in this webinar today, you can go to the apc.edu.au. That's apc.edu.au and go to our live chat that's in the bottom right-hand corner and ask there. Someone's going to give you a hand and talk you through the situation. All right, so question from Marie. The lock-in period is also a cheaper price. So in terms of fees, the lock-in period, is it the same? How does that work?
A really good question. So the lock-in period is actually our tuition fee relief fees, okay? So provided that you enroll before the 31st of December and secure that enrollment in the lock-in period for a maximum of 4 terms, you will get tuition fee relief. So as you guys know, tuition fee relief is very generous in terms of the fee for students, because we're here to support our students. So just to give you an example, in Sydney, it's about a $500 discount per term for all of our students to support our students. So it really depends on where you're studying, but yes, it is a lower fee than our normal fees.
Can I just jump in there, Rachel?
Yeah.
Marie is also asking about what if you're a design student.
Oh,
so
that's a good one.
yeah, I just want to remind you that the tuition fee relief for design and TESOL are both $1,500, with all our other vocational courses being $1,000. So you can lock in that $1,500 post, well, up to 30 June, and then the lock-in period is post from 1 July, still at the $1,500 per term. So that's also a saving.
Which is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big saving. Yeah.
It's a really big saving. You can essentially do an entire design qualification with the tuition fee relief and the lock-in period, which is really exciting. So as a lot of you know, that the design courses are typically a lot higher than our other courses because of the resources used. So it's an incredible opportunity if you're interested in design.
All right, so I've just asked everybody, please try and ask your questions in the Q&A. There's the chat and the Q&A, and I'm trying to just look at one place. So if you can try and ask them in the Q&A, that would be really helpful. Let's talk a little bit about English. I saw a couple of questions that came in asking the same thing. How does, with face-to-face, right? I mean, obviously before this whole thing happened, English was conducted in face-to-face. Since March, we've been in the virtual learning environment. The tuition fee relief, and now of course for the lock-in period doesn't apply to English studies. So the tuition fee relief is only until the end of June next year. But does face-to-face impact this at all, Rachel?
No. So the tuition fee relief is really based around supporting students through a difficult period. So whether we return to campus for our studies or not, that period will remain the same. Having said that, the lock-in period only applies to our VET courses. And that means that yes, you can get English at $100 per week up until the 30th of June next year.
All right, so another question again, I think a lot of people are asking about maybe their current course is going beyond the 30th of June. So if your course currently, let's say your course finishes with us before 30th of June next year, all of this automatically applies to you, don't have to worry about it. But what about people who are going afterwards? So let's say you're a student who's currently going until, September or December next year.
That's a really good question. So imagine you're a current student and your course finishes December next year. That means that you're entitled to 2 lock-in terms without you doing anything. It's just automatically applied to your enrollment. So all students get up to 4 lock-in terms, okay? And if your enrollment already goes to that point, you will automatically get it, okay? It's not something that's just on the table for extending students. It's also for current students. We really want to support all students with this initiative.
Can I add something as well? That particular student would also be able to extend for another course and get another 2 terms of lock-in for terms, the following 2 terms after that. So that's a great deal. And Robbie, I'm going to jump in here because I've noticed a few questions coming in. I can see Leslie's question and a few others about will the no enrolment fee, I assume application fee deal, also continue? And the answer to that is yes. So there's no application fee. We're really trying to do the right thing by our students here and helping. We know everybody's having difficult times.
All right, got a question from Monica. Just finished Cert 3 in travel and have extended my studies to continue studying in the Diploma of Travel and Tourism Management. Pam, you'll be very happy.
I am.
Can I request a 4-term lock-in? I think the whole thing is if you've already got a booking, you don't have to request it. I think that's the point, isn't it, Pam?
Yeah. What Rachel said earlier is correct. If you're an existing student, you've already done that extension, even if it showed differently on the LU before, it will automatically be credited to you, or it'll be applied, sorry is the correct word, yes. So you don't have to go back to your agent, you don't have to come to student care, it's going to be automatic. Every student studying with us will be at that lower price.
And because we're aware that some students will have an enrollment finishing in the middle or the beginning of the lock-in period, that's why we're giving all students the opportunity to extend and still take advantage of those 4 lock-in terms. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So I can see a few questions all on the similar topic, maybe talking about the next fees that are going to be due soon. All of your fees that are for study that will happen in term 4, term 1, term 2, that's all going to be at the tuition fee relief fee. Okay, so that might be particularly important if maybe you're in a difficult situation right now and you're looking at term 4 fees. It's going to be at the tuition fee relief fee. So keep that one in mind. I have a couple of questions about graduate diploma in management learning. First one is from Manuela. What are the entry requirements?
To start off with, you need English, Robbie.
Yeah, I need to do some, go back to EU, I think, yeah.
So in order to be able to apply for our graduate diploma of management in learning, the students have to have completed up to an advanced diploma level, or have 5 years of work history if they've only just finished school. We might have some domestic students in this webinar as well. Or have reached an advanced English level if they're studying ELICOS and wish to go straight over because they also have history, work history and bachelors and whatever from their home countries. So that's the initial requirement. They will then have to complete a personal portfolio. There is a document that they complete to be able for us to determine that they're right for that course. And then they also will have to have an interview. So it's a bit of a combination between like our design courses and our TESOL, where you have to have a portfolio for design and an interview for TESOL, where we have to do both for the graduate diploma.
That's it. It's really quite suitable for somebody who's been studying an advanced diploma, because if you've got to that level, you're at the right level English-wise. But then we also want to see that you're suitable for academic study, for postgraduate study. So there's a form that you fill out answering questions about your personal, academic and work history. And then you have an interview with us, and then we get you up and running if that program is for you. But as David said, and as Pam said, it's so exciting because you actually get 50% off your master's degree. So you do 1 year of your graduate diploma and then 1 year of a master's degree, and then you come away with both qualifications. So it's so incredible, and that actually means that you only pay half of what you would normally pay to the university. So it's a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for our students, and we're really, really excited. And I think you saw on the screen before, we've got a really nice variety of master's programs that would suit a lot of different industries. So it's a really exciting one. And we're going to be providing you with more information, and I think a dedicated webinar for that as well.
Yeah, there will be further information. That's right, Rach. We just wanted to let you know what's coming. There was a question.
Can we, yeah. Robbie, sorry, Eva, can we pop the graph back up on the screen? Because I think we've got a lot of questions about that. Yeah. So once again, that yellow area, that's the tuition fee relief, okay? That's the confirmed fee for everyone who is enrolled up until the 30th of June, okay, next year. So if you have a student who's already enrolled, they're gonna get that fee. If you have a student that will enroll, they'll get that fee, okay? Now, the lock-in period, what that means, okay? This is a special extra period, okay, of tuition fee relief. So it's the same fees as tuition fee relief, okay? It's only for vet study, and a student can lock in an additional 4 terms of vet study for the tuition fee relief fee, okay? So that means that if it's a new student, it's quite easy to work out because it's just going to be the same fee across that period up until the end of the enrollment, and only 4 terms of tuition fee relief in the lock-in period, okay? And if it's an existing student, a student who's already enrolled with us, we're also going to be giving them tuition fee relief in the lock-in period up to 4 terms, okay? So we didn't want to be unfair to existing students, so we're applying it to everyone. But the rule is no more than 4 terms in that lock-in period, okay? I hope that.
One thing I'd like to add, if I can jump in there as well, I can see a question there from Daniela. Is the price valid for offshore students? Yes, it's valid for both onshore and offshore students, Daniela, providing the time period as explained in this graph fits the enrolment. So they can be studying offshore. We've got a lot of students offshore currently studying through our virtual learning environment, and that will continue for now.
And so if you don't have a current enrollment with us and you're looking to access this lock-in period, the enrollment, you need to apply and enroll by the end of this year, right? So the lock-in period, which goes all the way through for, up to 4 terms between, the second half of 2021 and all of 2022, for up to 4 terms in that period, you have to apply by the 31st of December. A couple of questions about, can I decide to extend when I finish at the end of term 1 or at the end of term 2? This, you need to extend by the 31st of December 2020. That's how you access the lock-in period. For
those lock-in, yeah. If you don't already have an enrollment that goes in that period, right, Robbie?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, there's an enormous wall of questions.
So many. I'm like, whoa, I'm getting overwhelmed. I can see a lot of people still have questions about the lock-in period. I can see, okay, this is one way to look at it. So the tuition fee relief is pretty much, the yellow part is what we've been doing. It's the same, okay? The gray period, the lock-in period, is a special extra period, okay, where you can lock in 4 terms of VET, but you have to do that by the 31st of December. If you already have an enrollment, that's because you've already applied before the 31st of December this year, right? So then, of course, you also get your 4 lock-in terms as well if your enrollment goes to that period, okay?
All right, so next question is about, I think we need to talk a little bit about the fee structure of the graduate diploma. A couple of questions about that. Pam, can I leave that with you to talk about?
Sure. Our graduate diploma of management learning will be $2,495 per term, and there's 4 terms, so that's going to be $9,980 for a 1-year graduate diploma qualification, which is pretty fantastic. And then that's the first year, when you think of it, that's the first year of a 2-year master's qualification. So that's all you're paying for the first year, and then that leads you straight into UOW, into the 2nd year of the masters.
When you say UOW, that's the University of Wollongong, right?
Sorry, I should have said that. I'm using jargon. University of Wollongong, that's correct, Robbie. And that is on their website. I noticed somewhere there was a question floating around saying, where do we find, information about the university partnerships? Well, I can tell you it is definitely on their website because I have seen it there.
I've just put the we have a link through to a page. If you would like information about that graduate diploma, I've just put the link down there in the chat. So, I encourage you to go there, put your details in there, and we can speak with you specifically. Everyone's going to have different circumstances. So we offer the graduate diploma as a standalone qualification, but then you can also use that as 50% of a master's program at the University of Wollongong. And there are 8 masters that sort of it partners with.
I can see a question from Julia, who's saying that she's finishing her diploma in marketing and communication, and that she's been in contact with universities about pathways, and she's been asking about a special discount with the universities. And she said, how can I be sure that I will receive this discount? Well, in the case of our partnership with UOW, the University of Wollongong, we have an agreed partnership with our course, the Graduate Diploma of Management Learning, and 8 master's degrees. So when you enroll in a package, you'll actually get 2 different letters of offers. Isn't that correct, Pam, with 2 different COEs?
That's correct.
And the great thing, something like that's so unusual for universities, is that they're actually going to be giving you that letter of offer for your master's year for only $1,000, for only a $1,000 deposit, which is amazing. It's like such great news for students who are in need, who want to study higher education. So we're super excited about it.
A question here that I don't want to have to dance around it too much. It's a question that's actually just come in through the chat about, if you do a graduate diploma and a master's, would you be eligible? I mean, I have to be really careful with our language here when we talk about visas, right? For a postgraduate visa. Do you want to do the dance, Pam, or why?
The dance is simply that, providing they've completed the 2 years, yes, they should be eligible if they meet the criteria then for the postgraduate visa. And
the criteria then at the time, right?
Yeah,
because,
keep in mind that Wollongong is considered regional as well. So the second year of the masters can be studied at Wollongong or at their Sydney in the Sydney campus. Okay, they have a few Sydney campuses. So there is an option there to study at either place, but the benefit of that postgrad visa, if that's what someone's looking at, is that Wollongong's considered regional.
All right, so I have another question here that's talking about when you have to extend, or by when you have to extend. So just to make it super, super clear, all of this, any study before the end of June next year automatically has it applied. Thank you for bringing that back, Eva. And then if you would like the same to apply in this lock-in period, so it can be up to 4 terms in that period, you have to extend by the 31st of December this year. Mm-hmm. So there's some time. You don't have to go out and do it right now, but there is a deadline there. So if you would like that to apply. So I just
there is a deadline for students that don't have enrollments in that period. Okay, just want to make that clear, because I've seen a couple of questions here from current students saying, do I also have to apply if my enrollment is in the lock-in period? If your current enrollment is in the lock-in period, you will automatically get up to 4 terms of tuition fee relief. And I saw another question come in and said, will my fee change in the lock-in period? No, it will not, because the tuition fee relief period and the lock-in period, they have the same fees, provided you are already enrolled before the 31st of December this year. Okay? So if you have an enrollment that has been completed before the 31st of December this year, then your fees in the tuition fee relief period and the lock-in period will be the same if you're a vet student, okay? Remember that the lock-in period does not apply to English students.
Questions about face-to-face, right? So of course we're operating in a virtual learning environment now. It's been mentioned that there are colleges around the place that are going back face-to-face. Obviously it depends where you are, right? So Australian Pacific College operates and English Unlimited operate in Victoria and in New South Wales and in Queensland. And of course there's different rules in different places. We are really taking a safety first approach to going back face-to-face. When Victoria got bad, that got bad really fast. And a lot of schools had already come back and then they had to go back online again. And we're trying to avoid disruption wherever we can. So there is a possibility that between now and the end of June next year, depending on how things are going and obviously keeping in mind everybody's safety, that there may be select courses brought back face-to-face, but we're exploring that possibility as it comes. VLE will definitely be offered until the end of June. So for example, if you're a student who is looking to not necessarily live in Sydney or Brisbane or wherever you might be, maybe you want to live regionally and explore that lifestyle for a while, you can definitely do that until the end of term 2 at this stage. So the end of term 2 next year, that's definitely still an option for you. So
Robbie, can I jump in for a second?
Please jump in.
I just wanted I just wanted to add, with regard to that question about the 485 post-study graduate visa, that because it's a master's and Wollongong's regional, it's actually 3 years. All right, so the visa's it's a 3-year post-grad visa. So that's fantastic. Okay, just so that they know. And I also saw another question. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a new student.
There is an enormous wall of questions, so please bear with it.
I know. Wow, look at all these questions. It's
really impressive.
The graduate diploma of management learning officially commences from term 1 next year. So that's the 1st of February. However, we have a small group that we're starting in term 4, which mostly comprise of our study buddies that I hope some of you are familiar with. I hope there's some study buddies here at the webinar today.
Hello, study buddies, if you're here.
Hi, if you're there. You're doing an awesome job. But if you're really, really keen to start in term 4, then again, click on the link that Robbie provided you and we can talk to you about whether it's suitable or not.
I've also just added the UOW and APC pathway link, and that's where you can read up on the actual partnership between UOW and APC. So yeah, well, thank you for that, Alini. Alini's saying there are some study buddies here today.
I just saw that too.
So have a look through the list. You're going to see all of the master's programs, all of the pathway master's programs. And we're going to obviously have a webinar dedicated to this great new qualification here at APC as well. Okay, so we're going to be able to answer those questions soon.
I saw one here. Oh, sorry, Robbie. I saw one here from Samira who's saying if it's a new vet student with 2 years of study starting in February, so that's term 1 next year, he'd have 2 installments with the relief, and from the lock-in he'll have 2 or 4 more. Well, the answer is you'd have your two terms up until 30 June, so term 1 and 2 under tuition fee relief, and then 4 more lock-in tuition fee relief terms. I hope that answers that one.
All right, simple question. What do we need to do to extend? If that's what you want to do, how do you do it, Rachel?
Yes, so extending means your enrollment is finishing with APC. So you're getting to the end of your study period. You're in your last couple of terms at APC. You're thinking, what course should I do next? Okay, if you want to extend, you can jump onto the website and hit apply now in the top right-hand corner, and you can start your application. You can speak to your agent as well if you already have an agent. You can go on to live chat and they can give you some more information as well. Really, the processes are very simple and very similar to the same way that you applied to study with us initially, okay? So we just want to make it as easy as possible. But I just want to highlight one more time, okay? If you already have an enrollment with us, you don't need to reapply to get this great new initiative, okay? You don't need to reapply if you already have an enrollment that goes into the lock-in period, okay? If you have an enrollment that goes into the lock-in period and you're like, hang on, I want another 2 terms of lock-in period because I only used 2, yeah, sure, you can reapply and extend again, that's fine. But please don't feel that you need to reapply to take advantage of this offer, okay?
All right, so one more question.
Can I add one more thing to that?
By all means.
If they've already got a LU that's been issued, a letter of offer issued at the 1,500 a term or whatever it might be, depending on the campus that they're at, because we hadn't released, we hadn't made the decision yet about this fantastic tuition fee relief extension, they don't have to do anything because we'll automatically apply for that. Just make sure that you sign your letter of offer and get your initial payment in before the 31st of December. Okay?
All right, I've got a question here. Can you repeat fees per term? How many terms per year? So,
that's a good one.
There you go. 4 terms per year. That's an easy one. And so the fees depend on the course. So assuming that tuition fee relief and or the lock-in period apply, it's $1,000 per term for almost all of the vocational courses, with the exception of design So
And
the
TESOL?
graduate, and TESOL, right? So graphic design, interior design, and TESOL teaching.
And I might add that we will be launching fashion design.
Yeah, fashion design's coming soon.
That's another one. While we're at it, we might as well throw that one in.
Yes, lots of exciting design courses.
Yeah, more information about the graduate diploma of management. That one we can just chuck down in the chat. So if you'd like more information, again, I don't want to spam you down there, but if that's what you'd like information about, just follow that link, put some details in, and we'll have a conversation with you about it. About potentially, of course, as Pam has stated a couple of times, official start date for that is term 1 next year. But if you'd like to talk to us about, potentially having a look at term 4, there are some opportunities, but it's not really widely available at the moment.
I can see a question from Julia again. I keep answering Julia's questions. Sorry. But she said, to apply for master's programs, I have to just finish a diploma or an advanced diploma. So not exactly. To apply for the master's pathway with UOW, you would have to first complete the graduate diploma of management learning, okay? And to be eligible to complete the the graduate diploma of management, Pam's nodding, you would need to, in most cases, have completed an advanced diploma with us. So imagine you're doing diploma of project management now, you're going to then move on to the advanced diploma, and then you could be thinking about the graduate diploma next. So it's 1 year of the graduate diploma, and then you would move on to your 1 year of your master's program.
Yeah, I'll just make that clear again. So there's a couple of questions about the masters. So Australian Pacific College does not offer the masters. So we will be offering the graduate diploma of management learning, and that is essentially a pathway into a master's. And so we have a partnership with the University of Wollongong, which means that their normal 2-year master's program is only 1 year if you have this first year of the graduate diploma in management. So that's just to try and clarify that. So we're not offering the masters. So there's a question, when does the masters start? Well, whenever you want to. Probably, hopefully, at the end of your graduate diploma of management with us. So that's how that would work. And in the chat there's a bit of information. Rachel sent that link through about the pathway down there too.
I've got a good question from Jonathan. And Jonathan, you can take this, Pam. What happens to fees after June 2021?
After June 2021, we're in lock-in. We're in lock-in, right?
We're in lock-in, but what if you haven't applied before the 31st of December? What happens to people
then you're taking a bit of a risk, because we don't know what's going to happen after June 2021 if you haven't applied before December 2020. So then you're just taking a risk as to whether we are able to continue it or not. It depends. No one knows if borders when and if borders are reopening. So really, at this stage, if you haven't locked it in by the 31st of December this year, the fees after that's for new enrolments and extensions. The fees after 30 June, so from 1 July, will revert back to what they were prior to our tuition fee relief at this stage.
All right.
Answer that?
Yeah. Sorry, go on, please.
Sorry, I just saw that was a very good example there from anonymous attendee. It says
Mr. Anonymous is asking a lot of questions.
I imagine Anonymous is like Zorro with like a mask on, like that.
Eva, if you could put the graph on there again, I think it would help. So if I start studying in term 3, 2020, okay? So term 3, 2020, if you look at the graph, is the beginning of the lock-in period, okay? And then would I study until term 4, 2022? Sorry, I did not read that correctly. The period, imagine if the person, I'm going to read the question. If I start studying in term 3, 2020 until term 4, 2022, I would have tuition fee relief and the lock-in until term 2, 2022. Am I correct? Yes, you are correct. So because you can only have 4 terms of lock-in, you would have the the first term would be term 3, 2021, term 4, and then you would have term 1 and term 2 in 2022. So you're not going to have the whole lock-in period because you can only have 4 terms. Yeah. Sorry, I read that badly. Apologies for that.
Question from Natalia. Please, I'd like to know if the LU will be issued with these relief, with the tuition fee relief. So Pam, just to touch again on, from the admissions perspective, how what a LU's looking like.
The letter of offer, the LU, shows the normal tuition fees and shows the relief. It shows how much we're reducing it by to get down to the tuition fee relief level. So not trying to be complicated, but we're basically tracking. That's how David was able to tell you how much we've given back to our students by the end of this year. As you heard him say, we'll have given back $10 million worth of benefits, and that's part of how we track it.
That's question from Tanel. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Can you do the masters remotely from Brisbane? What do we know about the UOW delivery?
That's a very good question, and I cannot answer that right off the top of my head.
Well, the first thing is that, I mean, the way that a lot of institutions are delivering their courses at the moment is not how they would normally do it. That's what's happening right now. But of course, if you were to join that master's after a year, that's a long way in the future. So, I mean, that would probably have to be an inquiry that, I mean, you can ask us, but you probably want to direct that inquiry to UOW, I would say. But if you, we'll see. I mean, sounds like we need the answer to that too. So that's a great question.
That is a great question. I know they do have online delivery and campuses in Sydney and also Wollongong. But yeah, we will get you more information, especially for international students.
And if things go back to campus officially, of course, international students aren't permitted to study more than a third of their course online. So if you're holding a student visa. So,
yeah, so that question's a bit up in the air at the moment.
It's an unknown at the moment. It's a bit, yeah.
I've got a really great question here about the package with UOW, the masters. So students do not have to do the IELTS if they complete the advanced diploma. So the advanced diploma would be your part of your pathway, let's say, into the graduate diploma, right? Yep. Once you've successfully completed the graduate diploma, then you have gained your successful entry into the master's program. So no, you don't need to do the IELTS before you go to UOW, and you don't need to do the IELTS before the graduate diploma if you have already satisfied our entry requirements. So we do have an English level of advanced for the graduate diploma at APC, but if you have done one of our advanced diplomas, then you will go into that without having to do another English test.
So UOW's entry criteria is successful completion of APC's graduate diploma of management learning. So you just have to meet our criteria to get into the graduate diploma, and then you don't have to do anything else to actually be able to be accepted into the University of Wollongong for the masters. Yeah. They will provide a provisional letter of offer, and the provision or condition is that the student successfully completes APC's graduate diploma of management learning.
Yeah, a question from Catherine about the fees of the masters. So again, it's the University of Wollongong, it's their masters, but the way it works ultimately is, let's say you have to do, I mean, Pam, maybe you know the number of credits in one of these masters programs. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the number of credits is?
I think Rachel knows all that off by heart at the moment. 36.
36.
Yeah.
Is that per year, or is that for the entire thing?
I think it's for the entire thing. So basically our students get half of the credits for that master's degree.
So essentially, I mean, the question is, you know, does the 50% credit mean that the fees are 50%? Essentially, yes. But
for that second year, yeah.
Yeah.
It basically means for a master's at University of Wollongong, you're generally paying over $47,000 for 2 years. That's a lot of money. But if you do 1 year at APC, and that's without any scholarship benefit at all, but our normal 2,495 per term, and then go into University of Wollongong, it's only going to be 33,000 in round figures, 33,500 for the 2 years. So that's a substantial saving for our students.
Yeah. And just to make, just to make it crystal clear, that couple of questions that I can see, it's just the graduate diploma. So the graduate diploma is a different level to the advanced diploma, right? So they have different levels in the Australian Qualifications Framework, which is a fancy way of saying an advanced diploma level is here and a graduate diploma level is here, right? So
one other thing I'd like to point out is a graduate diploma is actually higher than a bachelor when you look at those levels. So you would go advanced diploma, bachelor, graduate diploma, and then your master's. So it's really exciting for a lot of our students that already have bachelor degrees from back home. You're actually going to be going one step higher with a graduate diploma and then onto your master's. I have a really good question from Samira. I really want to answer this one. If we could go back to the graph, it says, okay, so imagine we have a vet student starting in February next year, okay, vet student, and this student is going to do 2 years of study. So 2 years of study is going to be 8 terms. She's saying, okay, he's going to get 2 terms in the tuition fee relief period, and she's asking how many lock-in terms. Would it be 2 or would it be 4? Okay, well, it's going to be 4 because, as we said before, every student gets up to 4 lock-in terms for their vet study, okay? And in this particular scenario, this student's study plan is going to go until term 4, 2022, okay? So yes, that student would get 4 lock-in terms and the 2 tuition fee relief terms, okay? Right. Is that clear?
That was very clear, Rach. But I've got one other question for you, or one other question to answer. I've got a question here from Eva, that if a student has a bachelor's degree from overseas, can they enrol directly into the grad dip without the advanced dip? Yes, of course, they can. I think Rachel was using the advanced diploma as an example of the fact that we require advanced English for our advanced diploma level in VET and in APC, and therefore they just move straight into the grad dip management, providing they've met the requirements and the interview. But for our ELICOS students, I mean, we know many of them have bachelors from overseas already, so providing they meet that English requirement and they've already got a bachelor from overseas, that's, yeah, absolutely fine. They can apply directly for the graduate diploma of management. Absolutely.
That's right. And so as Pam was saying before, there's something called the portfolio of evidence. So when you receive the flyer, there's actually a link there and you can click on it and there'll be a series of questions there that are going to assess how academically ready you are for this qualification. And so essentially, if you have a bachelor's degree from back home and your English is at the required level, at the advanced level, then you're welcome to fill out that portfolio of evidence and begin your application.
All right, so time has flown by.
Wow.
It's 4:05. So many great questions. I can see one last one that I'm going to answer right now before we wrap up. So could you send me an email with the details of what we've been talking about today? Yes, we can, and we will. So the details of tuition fee relief, lock-in opportunity, and obviously it sounds like we need to have a lot bit more about this, the graduate diploma of management. Yeah. Everyone who's registered for this webinar is going to get an email before the end of the week with all of these details. And we just have one final question in a poll for you, which I'm trying to find on my computer screen now. There you go. Did you find this session useful? This will just help us for next time. If you could just answer that one for us. You're all being very kind. You're almost being too kind. I'm going to blush. That's very nice.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We can keep it running just to see a few more. We've got quite a few
just keep
people
it coming. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. If you want to get in contact with us, always go to apc.edu.au. There's the live chat there. Always start a conversation during business hours. If you want to, if it's outside of business hours, then we'll get to it as soon as we can the next business day. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to our existing students, and hopefully welcome to those that haven't enrolled with us yet, and welcome to those that are about to join us. I noticed there were a few comments there saying they're about to start, and there wasn't an area in the poll to identify that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we
huge
look forward to having
thanks
you
to
with us.
our existing students, right? I mean, they've
Absolutely.
gone through. Everyone's gone through a lot. If you've been an international student in Australia in the last 6 months, it's been hard, right, at different times. And so, you know, we're really proud and happy to be working every day to try and help get you through your studies. You know, I hope you're really excited about this University of Wollongong pathway that we have through the Graduate Diploma of Management. I think that's, you know, something else for people who are, you know, maybe coming to the advanced diploma stage. So thanks for being there with us. Always feel free to give us, you know, any feedback at all in that live chat channel. And see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you for the beautiful comments. Bye.